So over the weekend, some leftists online just kind of decided that Marjorie Taylor Greene is now awesome or something, and that AOC is actually evil, and it all started because of this clip.
I personally do not trust someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene, a proven bigot and anti-Semite, on the issues of what is good for Gazans and Israelis.
Seems fine to me. Mrs. Jewish Space Lasers Marjorie Taylor Greene herself has a proven track record of extremely conservative ideology, but some on the left are now willing to cast that all aside to add this unique ally into their ranks. But at the same time, the rest of the left online is saying, whoa, hold up, no, we should not trust her. So who's right? Well, first let's hear the rest of what AOC had to say about her during that speech we saw.
I don't think that it benefits our movement in that instance to align the left with white nationalists. I don't think it serves us. And so I think it's about looking at the context, the place, the results, the outcomes, intentions, and where we think that train would go.
So AOC's argument here is that the left should not ally themselves with proven, white nationalists like Marjorie Taylor Greene. This could also be expanded to people like Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, but some on the online left have decided that actually Marjorie Taylor Greene is a better ally and more of a fighter, specifically on the issue of Palestine, than AOC. With some users writing, Marjorie Taylor Greene has stood more clearly against the genocide than you, AOC. She has sacrificed your career for it. As a lefty, I'd say Marjorie Taylor Greene has more credibility and honor than AOC on this matter. I never thought I'd respect Marjorie Taylor Greene more than AOC, but that's 2026 for you. AOC has less of a spine than Marjorie Taylor Greene. There are several issues where I disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene, but unlike AOC, she publicly called out Trump during his presidency. The list goes on, and it even includes Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, who is the uncle of Hassan Piker, who said, "This is just terrible. She sounds like the establishment. She's attacking an opponent of Israel as an anti-Semite. This is exactly what Israeli supporters want. Split the anti-war movement and the critics of Israel's genocide. Deeply counterproductive and selfish." There's so many more. I'm just showing you kind of the highlights here. So this is clearly a thing, right? And these each have hundreds, if not thousands of likes. And to me, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. AOC did have a bad vote on this issue. She did vote, probably the wrong way, even though her voting record specifically on the issue of Palestinian rights is better than the vast majority of Congress. But I digress. Either way, yes, AOC is wishy-washy sometimes. She will not have a perfect voting record for every single left-leaning issue that every single lefty, from an anarcho-communist to kind of a, democratic liberal socialist would, think of it to be good, right? But she is the largest viable left-leaning politician in the country, right? But some online are taking this all or nothing attitude and not applying it the other way. And I just quickly have to respond to some of those comments that said, like, Marjorie Taylor Greene burned down her own career to oppose the genocide, but that's some revisionist bullshit right there, okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene actually got pissed off that Trump wasn't going to endorse her to be the governor of Georgia, and decided to jump ship and jump onto some popular policies to garner sympathy before she left Congress exactly 5 years after she joined it, so she could get that sweet, sweet pension money after she already became a millionaire in Congress, okay? Marjorie Taylor Greene made a career off of being a toxic force in American politics, and she rose to prominence back in 2019 for going to AOC's office to harass her. Take a look.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm an American citizen. I pay your salary through the taxes that you collect from me through the IRS, and I do not support your socialist policies, and I do not support your murderous abortion policies. As a mother of 3 children, I'm appalled at New York's law for abortion. So you need to stop being a baby and stop locking your door and come out and face the American citizens that you serve. If you want to be a big girl, you need to get rid of your diaper.
Yeah, I can see why AOC wouldn't be too amped on the idea to be even friendly to someone like Marjorie Taylor Greene. And of course, there are those on the other side of the conversation, the other, lefties online saying that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a broken clock that's right twice a day, right? But that doesn't mean that she is better or more trustworthy than a career progressive like AOC.
If you make an honest assessment off of like every legislative action that AOC has done in her career, every legislative action that she's ever taken in her career, and then compare it to Marjorie Taylor Greene's track record, record and you still think Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually better than AOC, you're genuinely a dumb person. I don't know what to even explain to you. Like, I don't even know how we can have a conversation at that point. I do give Marjorie Taylor Greene credit for being an unlikely ally in this issue.
People get so worked up over AOC because she is such a big name in the movement, right? She's the biggest left-leaning politician next to Bernie Sanders. But the left loves to cannibalize themselves, right? AOC voted against defunding Israel, something to criticize, right? But has since then changed her stance and has actually called, for removing all funding from Israel, as have many in Congress. She urged Biden to stay in the race back in 2024. Again, something to criticize, but Marjorie Taylor Greene being right on this one issue does not make her a trustworthy ally to the left. And it's not just me saying that. Adam Mockler tweeted, AOC is right. Treating Marjorie Taylor Greene or Tucker Carlson as allies in any meaningful sense is a mistake. We don't have to guess who they are. They're brazen liars and bigots who unapologetically push vile conspiracy theories that they haven't truly taken accountability for. Not all alliances are neutral. Some corrode the very values you're trying to defend. Tucker Carlson represents a broader, cynical, deeply illiberal media ecosystem that is growing among young people, and the moral laundering of him is a net harm. 110% agree. Tucker Carlson is a violent force on this planet. He is dangerous, and he is using a lot of this goodwill he's generating by being anti-Israel to kind of, push further narratives of his more, right-wing conservative thinking. Then Mockler continues saying, Marjorie Taylor Greene pushed conspiracy theories about Jewish space lasers, voted to censure Representative Ilhan Omar, and called to deport her over a mistranslated video. Tucker Carlson promoted lies about the 2020 election to millions of Americans while privately admitting he didn't believe them. Yeah, exactly. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not someone to be trusted. Mehdi Hassan also posted this tweet that says, so if Marjorie Taylor Greene is now pro-Palestine and not just anti-Israel, as some leftists insist, and better than AOC, why has she not deleted this tweet? Apologized for this tweet. She posted this less than a year ago and right after Mamdani won the New York primary, and it's AI-generated picture of the Statue of Liberty, with a covering on. So, yeah. And then she said, this hits hard. Okay, Marjorie, sure. You're a pro-Palestinian advocate. You are so for Muslim rights. Good for you. Others saying, I didn't spend my life raging and seething at my late grandfather watching Tucker Carlson just to a few years after his death start writing with him. That's crazy. Another saying, Marjorie Taylor Greene is deeply racist and anti-Semitic populist grifter who did nothing more than follow obvious political wins after Trump wouldn't endorse her for governor. It is just wildly dense and short-sighted to not clock why welcoming Miss Jewish space lasers into the movement is a bad idea. And while all of these Twitter lefties are complaining online about how AOC is a fake ally or whatever, she is actually out in Georgia right now campaigning with Ruah Roman, who is a Palestinian Muslim woman fighting to keep her state Senate seat in Georgia.
To everyone watching, I'm Team Ruah, and I hope you are too. So let's make sure we get out the vote and send her to the state legislature.
So no matter what she does, for some reason, people want to hate AOC, right? And there are places to critique her. Again, there are places to critique any politician. But as Hassan points out here, people are not exactly always just or fair in their analysis of someone like AOC.
The way people treat it, they don't have a consistent framework that they analyze politicians on. It turns into, I don't like this person, and here are a million reasons why. Many of those millions are just exaggerations off of like what she has done that is worthy of criticism, that turns into red lines that people design for themselves, that they don't actually hold other people to the same standard.
AOC is an undeniable ally to the left, right? Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, these are not allies to the left. There may be some agreement on some issues pertaining to the Epstein files or, funding of Israel and the treatment of Palestinians, and maybe no more endless wars unless, there's a good reason for some people out there. But a broken clock is right twice a day. And I do not understand the notion that Marjorie Taylor Greene is a better ally to the left than AOC. I don't trust Marjorie Taylor Greene. Right? Just like how I don't trust Tucker or Nick Fuentes. They are ideological enemies. They are white nationalists. They will throw their support behind the next Republican without a thought because it benefits their worldview more. They are not anti-Trump right now because they have suddenly become woke warriors and have opened up and seen the light of Marxist-Leninist literature and have just become anti-Trump because they know that the Republican Party is a terrible force on this planet. No. They're anti-Trump because Trump is unpopular right now. He's polling in the 30s, right? He's extremely unpopular, and they want to keep their careers. So why stay on this sinking ship when they could abandon Trump and generate all of this goodwill by backing popular policies and gaining a supportive audience and gaining this sympathetic, kind of zeitgeist worldview about them, and then turn around and use that goodwill and use that audience to endorse or run with an anti-Trump populist America First conservative? Why do you think J.D. Vance is so damn quiet right now about Iran? He wants to have plausible deniability. He wants to be able to say, oh, well, I was always against the whole thing the whole time. That's why I was trying to do the peace talks, and I worked really hard with Marco Rubio against, Donald Trump was always over here. That's what he's trying to do, right? To say that he was against Trump on these issues so that in 2028 or the next time around when the conservatives are running and Trump can't anymore, who will be there for the next conservative like J.D. Vance who will posture against Trump? The same people who are posturing against Trump right now, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Tucker Carlson, like Nick Fuentes, even though, well, maybe not Nick Fuentes. He might be a little too extreme for even them. But these people do not care about making your life better. They care about making the country what they want the country to be, which is white, Christian, conservative. Okay, now I could be wrong about all of this. And please let me know. If you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your thoughts on this. If you like Marjorie Taylor Greene, if you hate AOC, let me know. I want to hear what you have to say because I want to understand where you're coming from. But while you're down there, consider subscribing to the channel and leave a like on the video because it would really mean a lot. I think that's going to do it for me. I'm Iago Lashua. Have a great day. Goodbye.